What's up? Welcome in another edition of Hoge and Jahns for you, just without the Jahns. He's in much nicer weather in Arizona, while myself and Kevin Fishbain did the hard work today, standing in the cold and Lake Forest, watching a glorious April minicamp practice with Matt Eberflus as the head coach for the first time on the grass. Kevin, did you enjoy it?
Now that you're a football coach, do you ever say on the grass? Because it's one of my favorite football guy phrases. It was a big John Fox thing.
Yeah.
We just got to get them on the grass and then we'll see how they look.
So the answer is actually yes. I don't think I say it a lot, but the reason why it's something that at least at the high school level we've talked about is because we don't have an indoor facility. So the indoor becomes the basketball court. And that's where a lot of just off-season workouts take place, or you're in the weight room. And so you do say once we get on the grass, we can do this.
Literal.
Yeah.
It's very literal for you. Yeah, I understand.
So it is something that comes
it was good to get out on the grass. We were technically on the gravel. But yeah, we watched the Bears play football today, kind of, for the first time since early January. So yeah, I mean, I joked about this a week or two ago in a mailbag, but if you're coming to training camp, you're going to want to look at that roster. It is a new era in so many ways. We're out there, I'm looking for Matt Eberflus. I can't even recognize, I'm looking for the head coach.
I do have to say, today felt weird. It was a weird feeling. You walk out to the same field that we're used to watching practice on, and some of the players are the same, but for the most part, it felt like somebody had come in and just switched out the entire organization in a weird way, except for number one. Number one was the most prominent returning player that was still out there. But then this is something we'll talk about. Eddie Jackson's not out there. Robert Quinn's not out there. There's other players who are not. There's no more Khalil Mack. Obviously, he got traded. You're looking. You're all these different numbers, all these different coaches. Couldn't recognize any of them. Like you said, it was hard to even spot Matt Eberflus with a white hat on for the first time.
Yeah, we both walked over to the offensive line workouts because we thought we saw Matt Eberflus. We had to get closer to is that the head coach of the Chicago Bears? Now, I will say we did have trouble at times spotting Matt Nagy because there were 7 different coaches in the Bears the last 4 years that looked exactly like Matt Nagy.
Yes.
So
I think we're down to maybe one because there was definitely another bald white guy running around out there.
Yeah, there were one. There was a Nagy lookalike. I told you I thought I saw Dave Ragone out there today. But yeah, brand new, and completely new coaching staff, tons of new players, and what's gonna be funny is when we get out there for OTAs, you're gonna have the rookies, the draft picks, the undrafted rookies, and they're probably still gonna sign 5 or 6 more veterans. So yeah, it's get your rosters, keep your rosters close by. Let's put it this way: Travis Gibson was the second most notable returning player on defense at practice today.
Yeah.
Behind Roquan Smith.
Because Jaylen Johnson wasn't there today either. It makes you sort of wonder if we're underestimating the defensive turnover a little bit. And I mean, I think I know I have at least had this every time we talk about the offense, step back, they don't have any talent. I'm well, yeah, but the defense should be similar. But when you actually put that in perspective, and today they had 2 players talk, that was the plan. Offense, they go with Justin Fields, obvious choice. Defense, for whatever reason, Roquan didn't talk today. So then you go down the line and you're oh, Jaylen Johnson's not here. Eddie Jackson's not here. Travis Gibson? And that's kind of where they are.
I think there were 2 players there today on defense that you could 110% say are starting next year. And that's Roquan Smith and Justin Jones. I think Nicholas Morrow will probably start.
I actually would like to challenge you on Justin Jones.
You want to challenge? Okay.
What if they draft a 3 technique with their first pick in the second round?
Yeah. All right. A Perrion Winfrey. It's a good name.
Yeah. It is a good name.
Local guy too.
Tommy Harris, who played a little bit of good 3 technique for this franchise. Not surprisingly, Oklahoma guy likes Perrion Winfrey to the Bears.
I know we're going to get to this. So I don't want to jump ahead because we're going to talk about the guys who are missing. But just note, as we're discussing how it was weird being there and so many new guys and so many guys not there, it's not a big deal that those guys weren't there because it's April. But
I don't know if I completely agree with that.
All right, well, let's get into it.
Yeah. I think, as Matt Eberflus said today, as he tried to dodge, dip, dodge, duck, dive, and dodge. Are those the 5 dodges from Dodgeball?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If I got that right, probably screw that movie quote up, but I think it was pretty close. I think it was like about 95% accurate. Every story is different, right? Example, Nick Foles not being there. Not surprising. Why would he be there?
Yeah, if I'm Nick Foles, I'm not going anywhere near.
I mean, the GM already said he's trying to trade him.
You know what? I take that back. I would maybe go there if I was Nick Foles just to troll.
Oh.
Nick Trolls.
Nick Trolls. Interesting.
Because you could kind of like just goof around.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know. Robert Quinn not being there. Again, we don't know the circumstance. I hate this because we don't know the circumstances. We've seen times where a guy's not there on the first day of a mini camp and then he's there the next day. Or in OTAs when we only get to see one of the practices every week. One guy's there that week, then he's not there the next, then he's there.
I guess when I say not a big deal, I guess what I mean is like Eddie Jackson's going to be the starting safety for this team. Like Jaylen Johnson's going to be a starting corner. And I presume if he's not traded, Robert Quinn will be a starting defensive end. So like these are not guys, but like I'm with you. Like Eddie Jackson and Jaylen Johnson, at least based on social media, were there in recent, at least at some point in the past 2 weeks. It's like why they're not there for practice, I don't know. But that's the problem is like they leave the speculation, and I think that like I mean I just think that like. When we're talking about who's on this team, like it's not a big deal in terms of like who's going to be the starting guys because like they're still there. But I can definitely say like yeah, they should have been there. I think the head coach made it very clear how much he valued the guys that were there.
So, for example, if Eddie Jackson was having a root canal done today, not a big deal. I feel sorry that he has a root canal, but status on the football team, fine. If Eddie Jackson's sitting out the voluntary portion of the offseason program, which again, we don't know that that's the case, but a big chunk of the defense didn't show up last year, and I think it hurt them very much. Like when multiple players don't touch down a receiver in the first game of the season on Sunday Night Football, it turns into a touchdown. You wonder about some of that stuff when you're not there for all the stuff you're supposed to be doing in the offseason. Even though it is voluntary, it's still not a great look. So if you're somebody like Eddie Jackson, who, like, at least in my opinion, needs to prove himself with a new coach, with a new regime, I definitely, when that name showed up today as when we were going through the list and you had already done a lot of the attendance already and you're like, yep, no Eddie Jackson, I was like, ooh, that's a big one. That's a big one to me. So, again, I don't want to overreact because maybe he could be there tomorrow. Maybe he's missed everything so far. I don't think that's a great look for him personally if he's missed everything so far.
No, I agree with you. And I'll say this. When Matt Eberflus unveiled his hits philosophy 3 months ago at Halas Hall, I wrote down 2 numbers on my notepad. They were 33 and 4. Those are the 2 guys who you can go back to last year and look at moments that based on what they did in games, they might not have finished a play the way Matt Eberflus is going to require. So, you would of players that you would think need to do their best to make good first impression on the head coach based on that reputation. Some of it earned, maybe some of it not. Some of it maybe a little over, maybe some of it exaggerated, some of it earned. You would think to be there, but as you said, they could be there tomorrow. They could be there Thursday. They could be there for all of OTAs and minicamp, and we'll never discuss this again. All but it's Tuesday. The Bears had a practice, and we got to be there, so obviously that's going to be kind of top of mind.
Yeah, and until we get more information, or the Bears want to provide more information, or the head coach wants to clear some of this stuff up, it's kind of the discussions that we have this time of year, and I think again.
By the way, wouldn't it be great if Eddie Jackson was getting a root canal? For like the Bears head coach to say, "Hey, Ajax wasn't here. He was getting a root canal."
I would laugh very hard, probably out loud in the press conference.
Yeah, but that's the world we live in, where these guys they're like you wish if it was something that is like a totally understandable reason to not be there, and they're going to be there tomorrow. That they just said, "Hey, yeah, he had a personal thing today. He's going to be here tomorrow," but Matt Eberflus is not necessarily seem like the type that's going to provide that kind of information.
No, I don't think so. A couple other things, though. One is very significant for me, and I guess I have to say I'm kind of glad I saw it. Offensive line. Larry Borom at left tackle, Tevin Jenkins at right tackle. I was very curious to see how they would line this up. Now, both Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus have said that situation's fluid, that they're going to try them at multiple different spots. I also think that what happens over the next couple weeks could dictate some of this. Do they draft a tackle? Do they draft a guard? Do they draft neither? Do they pick up one of those positions off of free agency when somebody gets cut? I could see how it's fluid, but at least to start, I find it very notable that in the first practice, Larry Borom was actually on the left side. Tevin Jenkins is on the right. At a minimum, what it tells you is they do not view Tevin Jenkins as a slam dunk future left tackle. They may still think he could play left tackle, but if they viewed him in the same light that Ryan Pace and company clearly did when they drafted him, he would have been a left tackle today, and they would be trying to make that happen. One of the reasons why I'm sort of optimistic about this, Kevin, at least in the evaluation of what they could possibly see. And I did ask Eberflus today, like, what are you looking at? And it's like kind of all the above, all the college film, the limited NFL film, trying to determine where their best spot is. I thought in a very small sample size, Larry Borom looked like a left tackle to me last year. Now, we've had conversations with Olin Kreutz on the CHGO podcast, and he seems to think that Larry Borom is better off long-term at guard. But between the two tackle options the Bears have right now, I personally feel like from what I've been able to see, and it is limited, that Tevin Jenkins has a better chance at long-term success on the right side. And Borom, you at least try on the left to see if that could work, and then maybe you kick him the guard if that doesn't work out. Or if they're both struggling, then maybe you try to kick Jenkins in the guard, Borom at right tackle. But based on what they have right now on the roster, I actually thought the way they had it lined up today made sense.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's funny. You go back to that practice at Soldier Field last year when the top 7 left tackles on the team were out. So Larry Borom had to play left tackle. And it was like a revelation to the Bears coaches. They were like, they couldn't stop talking about how well he played there. And if he doesn't get concussed that day, they don't sign Jason Peters. And Larry Borom is your week 1 starting left tackle. And if he stays healthy and plays well, he plays left tackle all year. And they put Tevin Jenkins back at right tackle when Tevin Jenkins returns. That's what they would have. I'm sure it's what they would have. Well, I shouldn't say I'm sure it's what they would have done with the previous regime. You never know. But so, yeah, I think that they talked about last year that Larry Borom was very light in his feet. He lost a ton of weight from between his pro day and reporting to Halas Hall, they kind of could see like, wait a second, maybe this guy could play left tackle. So I like that. I like the idea of it. I still think this is a team that maybe they have the flexibility. You can still sign a veteran left tackle who starts the first X amount of games of the year until you feel really good about Larry Borom. You could draft a guy who competes with Borom in training camp. There's some options there. Hoge never made that much sense to me, the idea of Tevin Jenkins being a left tackle.
So many others.
I just never. It was just
not the team that drafted him.
Right, the day that Charles Leno got cut, I was just like, why? Like, you're not even gonna.
that did seem awful premature.
It's just like you're not even gonna let these two guys like play it out. It's just like what are we doing here? It never made sense at the time, and I think the staff. Yeah, Jenkins, that was his position. And you remember at the owners' meetings when Ryan Poles was asked about it, the first thing he said was Larry Borom played some SEC left tackle. And the next thing he said was Tevin Jenkins played some left tackle last year. That, to me, once he said that, was okay. That I have a feeling who you prefer at what side.
Yeah, and I think that's what we at least saw today. And I am curious to see how much this actually changes. Of like tomorrow, are they really going to be switched? Is this some kind of weird competition? Or I have a feeling it's going to be more like this is what we're starting with. Maybe some draft personnel changes could change it. But if I had to place a bet right now, the first practice of training camp in July, Larry Borom's at left tackle, Tevin Jenkins is at right.
What if Ryan Poles or Ryan trolls this podcast, listens to this episode tomorrow, flips Borom and Jenkins, and all the guys who weren't here today are all there.
And Eberflus announces that Eddie Jackson had a root canal.
It's all on the table.
I think it would just show you the poll that this podcast really has.
It would. The polls that it has.
The polls, yeah. That was good.
The number one I guess that was number one. The second most important thing I saw from the offensive line today, not that we needed to see it to know it, the Bears need a right guard.
Yeah. I guess technically Eberflus did not say this. A couple of reporters did put this out there, though, and Sam Mustipher was at right guard today. And
I've never seen Sam Mustipher play anywhere other than center.
No, I'm not sure he has. I mean, sure he has at some point. I have to dive back in his draft profile at Notre Dame. But, look, he was already kind of an undersized center. I don't know how you felt about this, but looking at him line up in between not only Tevin Jenkins on the right side, but there's a size difference with Lucas Patrick at center, too. Like, this is why I like getting my eyes out on the grass on these players, Kevin. Because want to hear the most random observation I had today? I may have actually already made this to you. I forget who I said this to. But Blazing Game, the fullback.
Yep.
He don't look like a fullback. He looks like a tight end to me. He's taller than I thought. And he's not like short and scrunchy like some fullbacks are. Is that a scouting term?
Scrunchy. Stocky was what you were looking for. Stocky.
What did Pat Finley say today about? He's asked if Matt Eberflus is rigid.
Rigid, yeah.
Yeah.
He was referring to Matt Eberflus' schedule.
Is it rigid?
Yeah.
And good.
Let's see. The last time so Michael Burton was the last Bears fullback.
Like Michael Burton's a little scrunchy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tyler Klutz. Guy, let's put this. They're built like squares.
Hey, didn't Tyler Klutz bring the Bears Sheriff McManus?
Yep.
Legendary trade.
Yeah, you expect the guy to like literally look like a square.
Blazing Game looks like a tight end. He looks like he's listed at 6 foot, and I'm going Matt Forte was 6'2". He already looked big next to all the other running backs. I feel like he's taller than 6 feet. I didn't believe it.
Yeah, I will say if he lines up with the tight ends, maybe he would look really short.
Maybe the Bears running backs are all really short. I don't know.
Yeah, everything's relative. But hey, I'm excited the Bears have a fullback.
Where that came from, though, was Sam Mustipher looked small in between Lucas Patrick and Tevin Jenkins. And here's the thing about Mustipher. I think he can still have a role on this team. And I think ideally, and part of the problem sometimes the last regime had was trying to fit solid backups in as starters and kind of make them more than they are. I can't remember if I've told this before, but someone had relayed to me that Chase Daniel called or considered Sam Mustipher the smartest center he's ever worked with. Didn't say the best, just said the smartest. Okay. You can have value as an interior offensive lineman if the team knows that you can jump in at any given moment and know what the hell is going on at center if the center goes down. Okay, to have a backup center like that is great. However, in the NFL, with the way rosters are on game day, you really need that guy to be able to play guard too. Like, you want the guy who's active on game day as the backup center needs to also play guard. And so I'm interested to see how that goes, because I do think Sam Mustipher could be a valuable player off the bench for depth purposes for this Bears offensive line. I think if they're walking into week one with him as the starting right guard, that's a problem. But he's probably earned the opportunity. I don't know how you feel about it, Kevin. At least I understand why he was at right guard today. I found that interesting.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to get that work in there. And I think when he came in 2020, there was a difference right away in terms of the center knowing what to do. Like, it wasn't so much his physical abilities, but right away there was a sense along that offensive line that, okay, this guy makes the right IDs, makes the right calls. Like, and as you said, there's something to be said about having a guy on your team. And the other thing too, they don't have anybody else.
Yeah, I know.
They have Dakota Dozier, who I don't think I've been ratioing more on Twitter than when I just tweeted the Bears signed Dakota Dozier.
Why'd you do that, Kevin? Why did you do that?
I don't know. Like, guess what? There's a 90-man roster. They're going to have players who you don't love. So, who is Dakota Dozier? They have Willie Wright.
I've never heard of Willie Wright, but
Dieter Island's been with the team for a little bit.
Dieter is now the random, like, practice squad backup player that
will always be there.
That I get asked about the most now.
Ooh,
like, it used to be Jesper Horsted, I think. Now Jesper's like kind of earned his. He's caught a touchdown before in the NFL. He's kind of graduated from that.
Yeah. Because Thomas Graham Jr. kind of graduated from that a little bit. He was right.
But you know what I mean, though, when you like someone tweets at you and they're like, "Hey, how does random guy you don't watch at practice look?"
Mm-hmm.
Like if someone like break down Dieter Eilson for you, right? I don't know. I haven't seen him since training camp last year.
Now he's somebody that could play center and guard.
There you go. Which is why I found it interesting. Now, one, you just mentioned Dakota Dozier, because one, if you had told me Dakota Dozier was the starting right guard today, I would have been like, yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
I don't think you want him there on week one, but yeah, based on what the depth chart looks like right now. So the fact they had Mustipher there, I think is probably for the reason that I just brought up, was that I think Mustipher is probably still valued as a backup center, but you want him to be able to play guard too. So that's hey, for an offensive line that doesn't have much right now, that was a very interesting part of today, I thought. For our
By the way, I wrote this recently with Adam Jahns that Cody Whitehair is so far and away the only player on the offensive line who the Bears can look at and say, yeah, we know what we're getting from you.
Yeah.
I mean, we have one guy on the offensive line that can say that about. And you can sit here and pontificate about what you're going to get from Tevin Jenkins. I like the Lucas Patrick signing. I'm very interested to see what he does, but that was a 2-year deal for what, $8 million?
Yeah, it's...
and like, we could talk about Larry Borum. They don't have a right guard. Like, you have one guy who was a Pro Bowl alternate once in his career. I like Cody Whitehair. He's done a lot of nice things for this team. He's been the ultimate team player. I will always say, Hoge, if they did not change his position the week before his rookie season began, he would be a Pro Bowl guard.
Yeah, they tend to do that a lot.
Yeah, I still cannot believe they.
Remember when they
because
moved?
they needed Josh Sitton.
Yeah,
the year they went 3-13. Like they had to get
wasn't that when they moved Kyle Long to right tackle? When they
was it the same? That was the year Kyle Long played.
See, I thought that was the last minute change they made.
No, well, so they signed Sitton, who was a guard, so they had to move somebody to center.
Okay, I have to go back and revisit that, but
right? Was it? Yeah, something like that. But they just need somewhere for Cody Whitehair to play because he wasn't going to play guard when they got Josh Sitton in there.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and revisit. I thought the Kyle Long thing was when they signed Sitton.
I'm gonna figure this out.
Yeah, go ahead and do it. Whenever they put Kyle Long at right tackle, it was like it was like the week before the season started when he had been at guard.
Mm-hmm. So just looking at that Bears Patriots preseason game. Ted Larson was the center.
Yeah.
Cody Whitehair was left guard. Kyle Long was right guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had Bobby Massey in 2016, so they didn't need Kyle Long to play right tackle.
Right.
That was it was 2015. They moved Kyle Long to right tackle because they were being so weird about it all offseason. And they wouldn't say. And then we were finally allowed to report that he was playing right tackle. And they didn't change it on the depth chart or the roster until after the first game of the season.
And whoever they played to start that season totally caught off guard, I'm sure.
That was 2 head coaches ago.
I was thinking about that this morning. I mean, it was like, I don't know how it couldn't be like how many of these April mini camps I've covered now at this point because of all the changes. Tressman, because I didn't get Lovey's. I covered the end of Lovey, but that wouldn't have been the extra mini camp. So Tressman, Fox, Nagy, Eberflus. Hey guys, clients demand an instant response, but now more than ever, businesses are spread thin. If you're losing leads from visitors to your website or missing calls that could grow your business, you need to delegate those frontline conversations to the best virtual receptionist service, Smith AI. Smith AI provides businesses with award-winning virtual receptionists who handle your calls, chats, and texts to unlock new business at a fraction of the cost of hiring an in-house staff. Smith AI is not your average receptionist service. Since 2015, they've combined the best receptionists across North America with AI technology for superior business communications and customer engagement. Their friendly and professional agents can screen leads using your custom criteria, schedule appointments on your calendar, and call back leads who complete your form. Work uninterrupted, run your business with less stress, and get more leads from your marketing efforts. Smith AI pays for itself and then some with all the new clients their receptionists help you win. Never miss another lead. Boost revenue, increase your focus at work, and keep your staffing costs down. It's as simple as forwarding your calls to Smith AI. Plans start at just $240 a month. And our listeners will save $100 when you sign up using promo code ADAM at smith.ai. Visit smith.ai to read 5-star reviews and be sure to use our code ADAM to save $100 at sign up. Don't let another day go by. Try Smith AI. It's hard to imagine, but spring is almost here. We had a really nice day on Saturday. It felt like spring, and we are so close to feeling that soft grass under our feet. First, we got to get our lawn back. Thankfully, Sunday gets your lawn growing and helps to keep it healthy all season long. Sunday can help you grow a beautiful lawn without the guesswork or the nasty chemicals. Their custom plans include fertilizer and everything you need to easily care for your lawn. With ingredients like seaweed, iron, and molasses, you can feel good with kids and pets being around. Just attach the ready-to-use pouch to a garden hose and spray. It takes less than 15 minutes. Best of all, this stuff really works. And Sunday is offering our listeners 20% off right now. Full season plans start at just $129. And right now you can get 20% off at checkout when you visit getsunday.com/Adam20. That's 20% off your custom plan at getsunday.com/Adam20. Hey, Hoge and Jahns listeners, spring is here, and I want to do a favor for you guys. Just listen to me here. Let Omaha Steaks make it easy to stock up on all of your grilling favorites as the weather gets nicer. Finally, visit omahasteaks.com. Enter code ADAM into the search bar and order the spring grill pack today. You'll save over 50%, plus you'll get 4 Omaha Steak burgers and 4 boneless chicken breasts free with your order. This package has it all, from the butcher cut filet mignons to the delicious caramel apple tartlets. Omaha Steaks delivers perfection in every single bite, every single time, and back each order with their 100% satisfaction guarantee. Visit omahasteaks.com, type keyword Adam in the search bar, and order today. My dad's birthday was a couple weeks ago. I had the Omaha Steaks going on the grill. The fillets, served them. They were great. Got to go medium rare in my house, and they came out perfect. There's a reason why Omaha Steaks has been the leader of gourmet steaks and food for over a century. No one, and I mean no one, comes close to matching the flavor, tenderness, and value of Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com, keyword Adam, and order the spring grill pack today. Hey, how about the quarterback, though?
Justin Fields.
Yeah. He was the one guy where you're like, yeah, I know him. He wears number 1. He's in the orange jersey. I don't know who those other 2 quarterbacks are. Oh, yeah, Trevor Siemien. See, Chris Emma tried to say that Trevor Siemien was the Chicago Bears Big Ten quarterback today. And I said, I know what you're going there with, like the Northwestern thing, but I'm pretty sure Justin Fields still qualifies as Chicago's Big Ten quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be honest. Sorry. What did you think about your boy Trevor?
I mean, smooth operator, Trevor Siemien.
Smooth operator.
Yeah, he looked as good as he always has been. He's reliable. He's perfect for this position. And if he needs to step in for any reason, you know what you're going to get. And you want to talk about a smart player. I think we can all vouch that he, got a good head on his shoulders.
You're not listening, Chris.
That's been your 15 seconds on.
What I forgot. I meant to ask you, what was your preferred drop back foot when you're in the shotgun?
So I actually need to look into this a little bit more. I'm not like a quarterback guru when it comes to technique and things like that.
Not yet. You're not.
But so this is so Justin Fields said today, he was asked what kind of changes are going on here, maybe with technique, things like that. And he said Luke Getsy is having him put his left foot forward in the shotgun now. When he's in the shotgun stance, waiting for the snap, left foot forward. Again, not talking as like a total expert in quarterback mechanics from start to finish. That I'm relatively sure is how we teach it, and seems like to me, if I were to just walk up and do it naturally, would be what I would do. Now, but what it has to do with is timing in your progression and rhythm. And so last year, Fields had his right foot forward, and I briefly, right before we got started here, I checked his Ohio State film from at least his senior year. I've not gone through every year, but at least his senior year against Clemson, his right foot was forward there too. So I just wonder if that was a change that the Bears just didn't want to make with a rookie, like mess with his mechanics right away. And Luke Getsy's coming in here and being like, no, everything's going to work better with your footwork, with your rhythm as you go through your progressions if your left foot is forward. And so for anyone being like, why does this matter? That's what it is. Like, your footwork's everything. And regardless, you have to get your feet in the proper position when you make the throw. If your feet aren't there, your throw is going to be off. Your feet, everything when it comes to accuracy. So I like to hear subtle changes like this. It'll be interesting to see how it works out. Quick observation from one random minicamp practice in shorts with no defense. I thought Justin was very accurate today. I thought a lot of the passes were right where they should be, in the hands, in stride on the receivers. No pass rush, no defense. Don't know necessarily. It wasn't like clocking the decisions or how quickly he was getting rid of the ball, things like that. But I did think he looked comfortable today watching him go through all that.
Yeah, I think I saw maybe one ball hit the ground all day.
Which is pretty impressive.
And that's what you want also in a practice like this. But again, like this is his first time practicing with this footwork, with this coach, coordinator. You know, they were playing against scout team stuff. So, yeah, I think we all, this time of year, we're always kind of looking for some subtle changes just out of intrigue, and that's the change for Fields. And he seemed to kind of approach it very matter-of-factly. This is what we're supposed to do in this offense. It helps with the timing. And you get that. Like, your footwork is so crucial to the timing of the play. Because if you're on the wrong foot, then you got to take an extra step or whatever you have to do to make the throw, and the receiver's coming out of his break. I get it, and it's just up to Justin Fields to get comfortable in it. And going back to our earlier topic, too, about attendance, Hoge, the offense, and Justin Fields says, he didn't say that he told guys to get there, but he told us, like, if you're on the offense, you kind of need to be there. And pretty much everybody was there.
And that's where I am on the defense too, man. It's a new defense. It's a new defense. And you can tell me that Robert Quinn does what Robert Quinn does. He could show up on Sunday of the first game and know he's got to get a field and tackle the quarterback. And I'd be like, okay, I get where you're coming from. The guy's been around the league long enough, multiple defenses, not going to make too big of a deal out of that one. But for a guy like Eddie Jackson, who's taken a step back in recent years, and I think could benefit from this defense, he's somebody that should be there. Jaylen Johnson not being there really surprised me. And that's one where I wonder, like, does he just have something else going on? Does he have a root canal? I mean, a lot of root canals going on these days, for all we know.
Yeah, no, you've changed. I mean, as I said, my statement earlier about how not being a big deal, it's just like I want to judge these guys at OTAs and minicamp and training camp and not middle of April. But I'll also say this, I want to be careful here, because if they have personal things going on, they got personal things going on. But it's April 19th, and your football team's having a practice. Like, it's hard to imagine in this profession, like, what else you could be doing unless you're on vacation with the Jahns family.
All right. Yeah. What do you think Jahns is doing right now?
I have not heard from him today. I don't expect he's on vacation. He doesn't have to reach out.
Anyway, who cares?
Is he going to listen to this podcast?
No. Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
I doubt it. That's fine.
Is Jaylen Johnson going to listen to this podcast?
Probably not.
I don't know. Hey, you know what's weird? Really weird. I am not making this up, literally just tweeted at you and me. That's actually crazy and weird that just happened. He said, have a great show today, Adam Hoge and Kevin Fishbain. He's on top of a mountain, like Ron Burgundy.
Oh, wow. Look at this. 27 seconds ago.
Is that the Grand Canyon? He kind of did the portrait mode where the background.
I feel like he did portrait mode wrong. I've been much more interested in what's behind him than him.
Right. I do have to say, though, the Walking Bear sweatshirt looks really good. I have to say.
Yeah, it's a good looking sweatshirt.
Another hint, he's at the Grand Canyon, because that sweatshirt probably a little too warm to wear in the heat of the valley. So I'm thinking he's out at the Grand Canyon where it's a little cooler.
You had me nervous for a second because I thought you were saying that Jaylen Johnson had just tweeted at us.
Oh. This just in, Matt Eberflus just tweeted, Jaylen Johnson and Eddie Jackson had root canals today.
No.
Yeah, I made that part up. John's literally, that is so weird. He tweeted us right as we were talking about him. I'm a little creeped out by that, to be honest with you. Is he secretly on this recording as we're doing this? Weird. All right. We need to get out of here, though. Good stuff. We'll be back. Kevin and I will be back Thursday to recap the next 2 days. So we'll get you the full mini camp experience, more observations. Maybe the root canals will be over by then. We'll find out. We'll check in with the dentist. I don't know if the Bears have a dentist. They probably do. But we'll have all that for you on Thursday. Follow us on Twitter at Adam Hoge, at K Fishbain. Kevin's got all the coverage up at theathletic.com/Hoge and Jahns. Make sure you are subscribed. Observations, takeaways from today at Halas Hall. And we have you covered too at allchgo.com. Nicholas Moriano's got some stuff. I'll have some stuff. So that's all for you. My 10 Bears things up at, although not 10 Bears things anymore, Kevin. Just the Bears things.
I like that because, and I argue about this with Jahns, we as a society get so hung up on 5s and 10s and 15s and 20s. Let's just go. Just, you know, be you. If you only have 7 Bears things, do 7. If you got 14, give me all 14.
What a way to end there with the BU comment.
It's just where we're at, Hoge.
What a waste of time training camp was, guys.
Such an all-timer.
That was classic. All right, we're out of here. We'll talk to you Thursday.
See ya.
Hey, what's up, Flus?